Good morning. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Let me adjust. I know you can see my picnic blanket right here. I have a picnic blanket, which is fun. I've used it literally one time. Um, Also, just finished doing my hair. Friday nights are wash nights. So on Saturday morning, it always kind of it feels clean, which I guess is just different for me. I wash my hair just once a week. Yeah, I'm one of those people. So, anyways, this week we are going to talk about type threes, which personally I find type threes very interesting types because they they have a lot of like hidden parts to them. So they were interesting to read about. But before we get to type threes and what I kind of want to, I guess, talk about today, I do want to say one, I'm drinking out of a non Fox mug. It's kind of rare. It's got a D on it for my name. And I randomly got it at work as a part of like a secret, what was it called? Like anonymous giver something, like people basically trying to do good things anonymously. And so I got a coffee mug, which was really sweet. Um, yeah, I like it. I'm drinking it's Trader Joe's fall tea, like their fall seasonal. It's a seasonal thing. Like I've had it since the fall because I bought like 3 boxes because it's so good. It's a good like warm flavor. And it's really hot, so I'm not going to drink it right now. And what else? Oh, the one other thing I want to talk about what I am proud of myself for this week. Um, Again, I try to say this every week. Whatever you are proud of yourself for doing this week, like please put it in the comments down below because it's really cool to like hear um, what you're proud of yourself for doing because, it might not seem like a big deal to other people, but for you, it might be a big deal. Or it probably is if you're proud of yourself for doing it. So I love that. I think it's really, it's interesting. And I think it shows a lot of what you want as a person. So I appreciate that. So this week, I am proud of myself for working out last night, which was Friday night. I worked out. That doesn't happen very much. Usually on Fridays, I get home from work and I put on pajamas and I watch TV for like 5 hours. And I usually make something, some kind of dinner that I don't want to say it's unhealthy, but like I usually like I don't eat a lot of carbs. I don't drink a lot of alcohol, but like usually on Friday nights, like that's when I might like have a drink. So I did. I drank like a beer last night. I had spaghetti last night. It was amazing. But then afterwards, I worked out. And I'm proud of myself for doing that because I really did not feel like it. But I knew that if I did it last night, then I wouldn't have to do it today. And I wouldn't have to shower. Like I could just shower Friday night and that was it. And I wouldn't have to like, work out and shower again on Saturday. So I'm proud of myself for doing that. So let's get started with type threes. So a little bit about type threes. They are very motivated by a need for success and admiration. And that looks different for everyone. It can be money, it can be work, looking good at work, climbing up uh, the career, what do you call it? The professional ladder, whatever you call it. Basically, just trying to get promotions, things like that. Or it could just be like wanting to like have the most followers on social media and finding different ways to do that. It could even be like for parents, like it could be like being the best dad, being the best mom. Um, Oftentimes, type threes will talk about when they were a kid, there was a parent who, or both parents sometimes, who responded the best to like success that you had. So, for example, I know a type three who, as a kid, whenever she got the A, it was like, oh my gosh, you got an A. Oh my, like it's so amazing. It's so wonderful. Um, or I know she played sports. And so if she did well at the sport, she loved the praise from her coach. And if she didn't do well, like the disappointment from her coach, or just not even hearing anything from her coach, like just, she wasn't impressive in her sport. And so the coach doesn't say anything, and that would crush her. So that is an example of the success and the admiration that a type three might be craving. So a little bit about what I learned from type threes. In the Complete Enneagram by Beatrice Chestnut, she does talk about. I said this in the past. Like she relates the 9 types to the 9 circles of hell in Dante's Inferno, and the 9 encounters that Odysseus has in the Odyssey. I'm sorry. Yeah, Odysseus. Yeah, Odysseus has. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm not thinking right. The 9 encounters that Odysseus has in the Odyssey by Homer. I was thinking Odysseus was the author. I don't know why I got Homer and Odysseus switched. But yeah, she relates the 9 types to that story. And so she was talking about in the 9 circles of hell, what is it, the second to last circle? Yeah, second to last circle is people who are basically like deceivers. It's the people who lied in order to gain something. It's people who are really um, pushed forward by vanity, which is defined in the Complete Enneagram as like basically like living for other people or doing things for the eyes of other people. So it's not in service of other people, like a type 2 might be in service of others. It's for the eyes of other people. It's so when they look at what you did, who you are, what you said, what you're wearing, it's so they look at you and they um, feel impressed by you. Um, which might not be the best words for it, but it is for their eyes. I'll say that. Type threes deal a lot with vanity and wanting to do things for other people's eyes. So, like achievement and success, they're not always concerned with like achieving for themselves necessarily. Like they're not wanting to make more money because maybe they don't have a good paying job and maybe they have a hard time paying bills. And so, they don't want the success necessarily to, just pay off their bills and make ends meet. They might want success in order to, for you to look at them and think, oh my gosh, isn't that amazing that in 1 year you went from this entry level position to like, being over all these people. Like you really climbed the ladder. Like that's amazing. Like they want that. However, I don't ever want to say that type threes don't care about doing things for other people. They often do, especially the self-preservation subtype, where they can sometimes mask vanity by trying to instead like be good and do good things. Type threes, it doesn't matter what subtype, they do have people they care about and they want to do good things for them. So, I mean, a type three as a parent, they probably want to make more money to support their children. That, and it's not like a secret vanity. But they also might want some recognition. Ooh, I keep hitting my table. I need to stop. But they also want some like they might want some recognition um, for taking care of their kids. You know what I mean? And not all the time. It's just sometimes type threes do really deal with that vanity and might not even realize it. So, to circle back to Dante's Inferno, this, second to last circle of hell. So I guess it's the eighth circle of hell, technically, um, where all these deceivers are. Like these are people who set kind of would present one way to people, but that wasn't their real intention on the inside. And so that does relate a lot to the vanity um, inside type threes that they're really attracted to. Now, I will say in the Odyssey, I don't quite remember all of it because I just didn't find it. I had a hard time grasping the concept. So I don't remember all of it, but um, I guess Chestnut does relate type threes to the part in the Odyssey where Odysseus and his men have to go. They've like go through this area where there's two bad things on like both sides, and it's where we get the expression we're between a rock and a hard place, where it's like you just can't win. Like you're between like the rock that can kill you and the hard place that can also kill you. And so with type threes dealing with vanity, it's a metaphor, I guess you could say a metaphor for when they are dealing with um like I want people to see me this way. Um, and I'm afraid if I don't show them, then they're going to see the real me and not be impressed. So it's kind of like they feel like maybe they can't win. And to add on to that, I will say something that I've heard many times from type threes, because I will say I have been good friends with a couple of type threes in my life. Actually, three type threes. And maybe it's because one of my wings is a three, and so that just happens a lot. But yeah, I know three type threes, and they have reported like just not even recognizing themselves as being vain. And I wonder, so this is just kind of my speculation. I wonder if they don't see themselves as vain because they're not necessarily thinking about vanity. They're just thinking, I'm in a new workplace and I recognize when I walk in that everyone is very serious and wants to get ahead. So I know that to impress these people, I need to be very serious about my work and I need to dress like I'm serious. And so they do, and they're able to be charming through that. And they are able to get ahead and maybe climb the ladder. And they're able to, get people to like them and or respect them. They don't see that as vanity. They don't see their motivation for that as vanity, wanting to look good for the eyes of other people. Type three would see that as adaptability. And I think it's very easy to argue that it is adaptability. I mean, that is kind of the positive part of a type three is they are so adaptable and are often called chameleons because they know who they need to be in order to do well, in order to survive. And to be honest, I've heard this before. I could not tell you the source. I don't remember, but I have heard before that, species of animals that survive thousands and millions of years are ones who have adapted to the changing world. So, type threes are adaptable. It's probably a good thing, just saying. Um, However, I do want to say that Beatrice Chestnut, she gives some advice for type threes in order to grow. And she gives some similar advice to all types. And this advice starts with observing your own behaviors and seeing how your passion, she calls it your passion, plays out. And so that passion for type threes is vanity. And so she says, like, how you need to take a step back and realize that, when you're doing things, why are you doing it? And this is what I love about the Enneagram because it puts so much why behind your actions and behaviors. And so she really wants type threes to understand, why are they doing certain things? And maybe I got something popped up. Maybe through the Enneagram or something else, because I never want people to think that the Enneagram is like the best thing to do. It's best for me right now. And it might be best for you right now, but it doesn't have to be. But maybe through the Enneagram, realizing that vanity is a big motivator for you. So I will give an example of type fours in just a second. I really want to see if my tea, my autumn tea, it's too hot. Yeah, it's all right. Hmm. Yeah, it's good. It's bearable. um, so I'll give an example of this whole like observing thing. So type fours, I'm a type four, if you haven't heard already. Um, Type four's passion is envy. And so a big thing for us is just taking a step back and realizing when our behaviors are being motivated by envy, and then finding ways to maybe change that behavior. So, for example, um, I have a I have a way of wanting to do what's different. That's a big type four thing. Wanting to be kind of the only one. I think I said it last week, like type fours, we want to be like Tigger. We want to be the only one, but we're inevitably Eeyore. um, so being motivated by envy, like I want to be the only person doing something. And then when it catches on or someone else goes, oh, that's cool. I want to do that too. Um, I feel a lot of jealousy and envy, even though it's like they're the ones copying me. I have such a fear that they're going to like do it better than me. So, like like to even be more specific, I remember in college, I had these really cute like Mary Jane shoes, and they were orange, like a burnt orange, and they were velvet. They were so cute. I loved these shoes. They were adorable, and they were from like Marshalls or something, or like TJ Maxx maybe. And so they were very affordable. I loved them. And so I just, I would wear them all the time. They were so cute. Well, I had a roommate who was just she was beautiful. She was very creative, got a lot of attention for these things. Especially her beauty. She was just, I mean, she couldn't help it. She was just the way she was born, There's no shame for the way you look, because you can't always help it. But she was just a beautiful girl and got a lot of attention for it. And so I remember there was 2 times where she looked at my shoes and goes, "Those are so cute. I want those. Where did you get them from? I'm gonna go get those this weekend." And she never did, but I just remember, like, the jealousy rising up in me because I was like, "I don't want her to get these shoes and then everyone talk about how adorable she is in these shoes," because I didn't really. I mean, I'd gotten, like, a couple. I mean, obviously, her saying that she wanted those shoes was a compliment, but it was a fear of mine to be like, I'm not being recognized for how cute they are, but she might be because she's, a beautiful girl and, wearing some really cute shoes. Like, of course, people are going to compliment her. Of course, people are going to notice. Or at least that's what I was saying in my head. And so a few years after that, when I discovered the Enneagram, that was one of many things that I could think of in my life where I was like, oh, I was envying someone. There's like a truck outside or something. And it sounded like it was right outside my window, which is interesting because there's not like a road right outside my window. But anyways, I realized that, and I had, and to be honest, I just had to notice like I'm being envious of something that hasn't even happened. Like, I'm, like, being envious of her getting all this attention when, yeah, like, in the past, I did see her get attention for the way she looked all the time, but I'm also projecting, like, my own insecurity about the way I looked, and the way I presented to people, and so I was envious that, she could look better than me in, like, the same thing I had, which had never happened before. And to be honest, she wasn't even like a show off kind of person. Like, in fact, this person might be a type 4 like me. So someone who maybe wanted to like look impressive but didn't want to talk about it, to necessarily want a lot of attention on her. So I don't. That wasn't even that wasn't even the issue. You know what I mean? Um, I was just envying her instead of just enjoying my shoes. So, for a type 3 dealing with vanity, it could be like, I gave an example of an old friend it's years ago. I say old friend, like we're not friends anymore. It's not that we're not friends. It's just like we haven't spoken in years kind of thing. It happens. We move away from each other. But this friend, like I do know she talked about this a little bit. Like she did have to understand that, um, when her coach didn't praise her, it didn't mean that she was bad at this sport. Like, it didn't mean she messed up because honestly, if she was doing poorly or did something bad, like, I don't know, scored a point for the other team, her coach would have said something. But she didn't. It was just like she didn't impress him in the moment for that play or whatever. I'm obviously not a sports person, but she didn't impress him. So he didn't say anything. And it wasn't a bad thing. Nothing negative happened. Um, and maybe even realizing, and I think this will take a lot of maturity from a lot of people. Like this, I understand that when I was 25, I would not have even thought of this. But now in my 30s, yes, I do think of this. Like if she were maybe around someone who could give her this advice as a teenager when she played sports, like you probably wouldn't want to be on a team with a coach who maybe did place some shame on you for not impressing him. Like you wouldn't want to play a sport under someone like that. Or even with work, like I think about that sometimes with like leaders. Like I wouldn't want to work for someone who straight up ignores me because I don't impress him or her. You know what I mean? And I think that takes some maturity, and that could be something, recognizing that and making up your mind to not impress people, but instead maybe impress yourself. That does take maturity and could be a helpful tool for type threes. And that part is just for me. That part's just for me. But the observation, the self awareness, that is from Chestnut, and I do think that is a good thing. So, just to recap, because I know I ramble a lot when I do these lives. Type threes, their passion, their big motivator is vanity. So, and that means doing things for the eyes of other people. So, basically, to make themselves look good, whatever that means. A way for type threes to not work from that place is to first observe their actions and their behaviors and ask themselves why they are doing those things or not doing certain things. Also, to go a little bit further, another way to maybe not behave, not to take actions motivated by vanity, or let's put it this way. Another way to not be motivated by vanity is to maybe look at situations as, this isn't about me impressing you. This is about impressing myself. That could be something also. If that is helpful for you, let me know. If it's not, if you want to like give some other advice, especially if you're a type three, like I really want to hear from type threes. If you want to make any comment as a type three, like whether you're agreeing or disagreeing with me or agreeing or disagreeing with Beatrice Chestnut, please let me know in the comments. I do want to know what you all have to say because, obviously I'm not talking about me. I'm not a type three. And so it is hard for me to empathize with everything about you guys or even just fully understand you if you don't speak up. So I do want to hear from you guys. And that's about it. That's about all I have for type threes. Next week will be type twos. I'm excited. That should be really cool. I know I go as a type four. When I'm in stress, I can go into type twos, go down to like lower levels of type two. So this should be a really interesting one to go through. I also know some type twos in my personal life. So that'll be interesting to try to understand them a little bit more. And yeah, I hope you guys have a really good weekend, good day, whatever today is for you, whether it's truly your weekend or if you don't have a weekend until like, the midweek, if you have one of those kinds of jobs. Either way, I hope today is a good day for you. I hope you find some kind of clarity. I hope you find some kind of joy. And I hope you find maybe a little bit more self-awareness. Yeah. Have a good one, guys. See you next week.